And what would you say differentiated you from the competition that's out there? Because obviously you've all done brilliantly in the fact that you've got onto a graduate scheme, so brilliant for all of you. But what do you think was your kind of standout feature?
I mean, it's hard not to sound cocky, but probably for me, probably the work I did in my final year. I was president of my society. I took them to a very, very successful year, whilst also managing to get a high 2-1. That for me was harder and more stressful than my year's placement I did, or my year out of university, because I did a year before going on to the graduate scheme that I did. So probably, yeah, that it was the fact that I did so much work on society whilst also trying to get a good degree. It really stood out that I wasn't just laying back and, getting by, which, I thought helped me quite a bit.
I think for myself, it probably was more along the lines of just trying something different. I mean, my sort of route to the graduate scheme, obviously I came in off the entry level role, so I then interviewed for the graduate scheme once I started. So for me, the application for the graduate scheme, it was all about, so now that you've been and you've got, sort of seen a little bit of an overview of how things are traditionally done here, what would you like to try that is maybe different that we aren't doing, and things like that. And I think I'd hope that I've come across and tried a few different things that have allowed me to continue. But as far as getting the initial role out of university, I think again it very much just showed in terms of being proactive and wanting to do different things, and actually caring about the idea of doing the job. Being passionate when you came into the interview about why you wanted to work there, which I think you said yourself, Navida, like you had that in the interview. I think we all had similar questions, and just being able to show a demonstrable passion for why you'd want to work here is going to get you a long way.
Brilliant.
I think for myself, it was partly like my placement year, because it was a very tough time, because I ended up moving from one company to another because of everything that was going on with the company I was working for. They closed down, they moved me to another one. And because of that, I developed a lot of adaptability, a lot of resilience, and that's something I could talk about in my interviews. And then obviously everything Ross said around kind of personality and bringing that into the interview, because I went in thinking I was going to be this, perfect graduate person. But when I sat down and spoke to, I think it was Sadkar, I just opened up. He was asking me all these questions. We just had a chat. It wasn't even an interview at that point. And it was in that I realised, okay, this definitely went quite well. And I think, again, it was my ability to be so open to him and just being so honest about why I was motivated and what I wanted to do in the future as well.
Yeah, I definitely think the honesty trait, as Nabida's just said, is massive. It just makes it personable. Doesn't make it feel like you're talking to, a robot. It makes it feel like, yeah, you are talking to a person, and it's just far more relatable. So yeah, I think that's a really good point from Nabida.
I fully agree with that, and just coming in and being yourself. At the end of the day, you can go into an interview and you can mold yourself into this perfect candidate for 90 minutes, but you've got to work with these people for a considerable amount of time afterwards. You've got to just show your real personality and see that you can get on. And it was a big thing for me, the interview process for me. I walked in and instantly clicked with my hiring manager, and I think we spent 20 minutes chatting about football at the end of the interview and stuff. So it was like knowing that you can have that connection with someone, not just in terms of a business sense, but you can actually get along with them. And that's kind of reflected now. I've got a very social team. We're all really close. We do spend a lot of time together just as friends. And that's equally as important, I think, because it makes the work-life balance a lot healthier.
Brilliant.